for having us. All right, well, hopefully I'm going to try and share my screen here and the presentation. Hopefully everyone can see that okay. Again, if there are other questions that pop up throughout the presentation, Cecilia can interject with those as well if there are any burning questions. But it's great to meet you. My name is Andrew Breda. I'm the Director of Admissions at Simon, and I'm joined by my fantastic colleague who I've worked with for quite a while. We have a very seasoned team here at Simon, and so over 11 years now I've worked with Julie. But I'll let Julie say hi.
Hello, everyone. As Andrew said, we've worked together for a long time. My name is Julie Sadwick. I'm the Senior Associate Director of Admissions. I've been at Simon for about 16 years now in the admissions office, and it's been an amazing time. Obviously, you don't stay somewhere that you don't love, so I absolutely love it. So we'll go ahead and continue. Thanks,
it helps that you like the people that you work with, right, Julie? I think
it does.
Not to put words in your mouth, but
it does.
Okay. Well, I know we've got a short time together, but we're thrilled to be able to join you. And honestly, Julie and I wish we were there in person, in Bogota or everywhere else. I guess in Latin America, we travel quite a bit, usually pre-COVID, and so hopefully we'll get back to that post-COVID traveling quite a bit. But we hope to be down there again soon. But we want to obviously present a little bit about Simon and what makes a Simon MBA unique. And so we always like to start with what our students tell us and tell our prospective students and some of the reasons that led them to Simon. And we'll talk about some of these key points throughout the presentation today. But of course, Cecilia mentioned our diversity, and really something we're extremely proud of. We were the #1 most diverse MBA program in the US, top 50 ranked MBA programs, and extremely proud of that, about that designation. We're also small by design, and we're intentionally small. We have typically about 100 to 120 full-time MBA students in each enrolling class, and it makes for a very personalized MBA experience and an opportunity for you to really be yourself and make the MBA your own. And I always tell students, if you want to learn how to be a leader and challenge yourself, then really take that step, right? Put yourself out there, take on those leadership roles, and you really get that opportunity to do so here at Simon in our close, tight-knit community. And so we wanted to hear from our students and what they have to say, and we'll get into a number of these points moving forward throughout the presentation. But we also wanted to highlight a couple of our key partnerships because all of our students are also considered for a number of our partnerships. And specifically a couple here we wanted to highlight: our Prospanica Scholarship. All of our students from Latin America are awarded our Prospanica designation, as well as our women then designated Forte Fellows. So all of our women who are admitted are designated Forte Fellows through the admissions process, and that's a part of your scholarship. So Julie, did you want to add on there?
No, that's true. So I guess, just highlighting partnerships, this is one way Simon does really well in terms of diversifying the class. We take full advantage of really becoming partners with organizations that are incredibly supportive to students that are, from all around the world, but also those that are historically underrepresented as well in the US. But Prospanica is one that everyone that's on this call listening would be able to get the Prospanica Fellowship. What that does allow you to do is to have free membership to the organization, and you also have the opportunity to upload your resume to their corporate recruiters. So all Prospanica Fellows have kind of a unique opportunity to be able to be showcased through their that organization to their corporate sponsors. Forte as well. So Forte, as Andrew said, all women will get the Forte designation that are admitted to our program. So yeah, I think that's great.
And we'll talk a little bit about the academic calendar in a second, what the program structure looks like at Simon. But one of the unique things about the Simon MBA in relation to Forte, again, specifically for women, is that all of our international women are able to participate in the Forte conference when it's in person. Obviously, virtually, you're able to participate. And we've had the last couple of years, fantastic opportunities for our international students. But when it's in person, because of the timing of our MBA start, our international students are able to join that conference in person as well. So when we get back to that in-person conference, when they start holding that, you'll be able to go in person.
We think it'll
Really
be this next year, hopefully. But yes, as Andrew alluded to, our program starts early. Our program actually starts in July. And here's our MBA class of 22. It's our class profile. So as Andrew mentioned, we're also intentionally small. So we enroll anywhere between 105 to about 125, 130 students at the very most. And you'll see we're very strong on international student population represented from all across the world. I think this year the enrolling class is about 20 to 22 countries, I believe.
Yeah,
That's
I think it might
represented,
be our most ever almost, Julie.
which is very exciting. We try to do that intentionally. We want you to be able to learn from others from all across the world. But I will say this enrolling class also, I believe about 15% of this class has self-identified as Hispanic or Latino background. So we're very excited about that as well. I think that that's probably the most ever, about 15%. So very happy. And 42% female. As you see from my background, we're very strong on female representation in the classroom. And underrepresented U.S. minorities. That's also how we received our #1 diversity ranking in U.S. News and World Report this year. So, no other school can say that. It's pretty amazing. Average of 5 to 6 years of work experience. You'll see the GPA there and the average GMAT. Please don't let that make you nervous. We do enroll a very wide range of scores and GPAs. So, that's just the average. We enroll, like I said, a very wide range. So if you have any specific questions for us about your own personal profile, just reach out to us. Okay. And you'll see we also are historically one of the top programs for finance in the world. And we have an economics-based curriculum across all disciplines. So you'll also see that we're very strong in entrepreneurship. We have a center for entrepreneurship that works directly with students if they wish. And as I mentioned earlier, one of the top programs for women in the US as well. You'll see finance, US News, Bloomberg, business analytics. We were, as Cecilia mentioned, we were the first program to go STEM, a STEM MBA back in 2018 now, right? Was it 2018, right, Andrew?
Yeah, yep.
Look at, and that's across all disciplines as well, including marketing, which is something that's very unusual. So to have the opportunity for you to obtain a STEM designation in your MBA and be able to work in the US for 3 years, and we'll go into that in just a moment, but, and also, yeah, go ahead, Andrew, sorry.
Sorry, I moved ahead, Julie.
Nope.
No, we also wanted to touch on our integrated student experience. And we think one of the things that makes Simon unique in a sense is that we really put an emphasis on really the very, very holistic look at your MBA experience, your MBA journey, and making sure that everything you do is very intentional, right? And that you're planning and driving you towards your career search. So you're supporting your career search with your academics, your experiential learning, study abroad opportunities, those exchange trips, your core courses, right, et cetera. The academic curriculum is supporting your career search. So helping you align electives, for example, and specialized areas of business that you're interested in, like marketing, like Julie said, maybe brand management or a pricing class that really align with your upcoming internship and your full-time career search. Like also co-curricular activities. And so you're using, your clubs and some of the pro bono consulting projects and case competitions, et cetera, really driving you to be successful in your career search. And again, it's a very holistic look at the MBA so that you can, structure your time, structure your schedule, structure your academic curriculum in a way that will help support you in your overall career search. So we call that our integrated student experience. And it really starts, well, prior to this slide, so day one, right? Before you even arrive at Simon, you're doing a lot of onboarding work, and our students are in the midst of that right now for our incoming class, which actually starts in a couple weeks. So if you recall, I mentioned that our Forte women can attend the Forte conference in person, in part because our program begins in mid-July with International Student Orientation. So 2 weeks from today, in fact, our students, our fall 2021 enrolling class will begin the program with international student orientation. And then we have what's called our pre-fall term, where you start taking your core classes. It's essentially an on-ramp for you to get ready for the MBA curriculum. And you also start, during that pre-fall term, you take a great deal of career education series. So our career management center is extremely active. They work with you very, very closely to identify your target career path and your career objectives. And then you begin, for many industries, even starting to apply for internships about a year in advance. So you're starting very early in the program during that free fall term, starting to work on submitting applications and getting yourself ready to submit those applications for that next summer. So even before you've really taken a full semester at Simon, you're already applying for those internships for that very next summer. And an internship is required. As you can see here on the slide, that next summer is a required internship, which is great from a visa perspective and gives you that opportunity to gain hands-on experience during the program. But as you can see, there's a lot of room for electives. We are one of the few MBA programs in the US that offers you the opportunity to take up to 4 electives during the first year of the MBA. It's very unique when you look at MBA programs. And so it gives you some flexibility. Now, we don't show the second year here. Of course, the second year becomes much more flexible, and you take the majority of your courses are elective. So you have a lot of flexibility in terms of the elective requirements there during your second year. I also want to highlight this GBA 401, and then you have your consulting practicum there in the second part of the spring semester. And so we start you off with a structured problem solving course, and then you roll that into a real life project that you work on for a company. And they typically bucket into marketing, finance, or strategy and consulting for that consulting practicum. So it gives you some very hands-on experience during the first year of the MBA, outside of clubs, et cetera. This is academic curricular built right into the academic program at Simon. We do offer obviously a number of specializations. We've touched on a couple already in terms of consulting and marketing and finance. We have them bucketed here, as you can see, on those 3 main areas. And then you'll see, there may be students interested in operations and strategy. We typically bucket those in the consulting track because many consultants are strategy consultants or operations consultants, et cetera. And so you get all of that academic curriculum there through the consulting track. But a number of minors, and the objective here is that you're broadening your academic curriculum, you're giving some more breadth and depth to the MBA academic curriculum by rounding out your experience with these minors. And so you have an opportunity to take on multiple minors, and many students focus on analytics. Again, being a STEM designated program, you can really take that as far as you like and do hardcore programming if you wanted to. But again, even marketing students can take a finance minor, for example. So you have a lot of flexibility there within the minors for the program. And as Julie mentioned before, I think this is still my slide, Julie. I'll just keep going until you're ready to jump in. This is, we talked about being STEM designated. Cecilia mentioned it as well. We were the first STEM designated MBA program in the US, fully STEM designated. We've been a very quantitative and analytics-based program for a long time, very economics-based, more quantitative. And so this was very natural for us to add the STEM designation to our MBA. And frankly, it's easy for students to get the STEM designation and meet the requirements to qualify for that STEM designation. Obviously, you have to put a lot of time and work into the academic requirements, but only 50% of your credits at Simon need to be in STEM eligible classes. It's very easy to achieve the designation, and there are a number of jobs out there that are highly desirable for our students in top companies, which we'll talk about in a bit here, all over the world, and certainly in the US, all over the country. We're not just a regional and Northeast school. Students really do go all over the country and all over the world for jobs that they're looking for. I think this is Julie. I'll pass it off to her.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, Andrew. That was great. And Andrew had also mentioned actually about what our Career Center does offer. So I'm very, very proud of what our Career Center does. We have the most amazing team, obviously, besides the admissions team, but the Bennett Career Center, they're fantastic. So they have many years of experience. They work with our students throughout the entire time that you're at Simon, and before that. So, think of it as something that's very unique. Usually in your undergraduate programs, you don't work as closely with career management centers, but in a graduate business program for an MBA, it's a huge part of the experience. So you start working with the Career Center well before you even matriculate into the program. So our incoming students start working with our Career Center actually in March. So there's onboarding, there are career modules that students go through at their own pace, and they're learning a lot about themselves, but they're also learning a lot about different industries, different job functions, because you may not even realize how much there is out there in terms of where you can place outside of an MBA. An MBA opens so many doors after the program. And so we try to educate students as to what you could go into. And we try to also help you to identify what's going to be a good fit for you in terms of the career. So you go through some assessment testing, and then we help you to readjust your resume to make it very industry specific. And then you start working directly one-on-one with your career coach, just based on your specialization or career of interest. So it's pretty amazing. So it's this whole life cycle. You'll be working with them throughout the program. And in fact, they try to keep you accountable. So you actually have to be in touch with your career advisors every week or every other week so that they can stay on top of, what's going on with your career search process. And then, you're helping your peers as well. So once you've landed an internship, which is, the benefit of a 2-year program, it's pretty significant because you have that opportunity to do an internship between the 2 years. Whereas if you only go into a 1-year program, you don't have that opportunity. And then you go into a career, and what if you don't like it? It's very hard to, be able to switch gears. Whereas a 2-year program, go into the internship, hopefully you love it and you land the full-time offer and you're good. But sometimes there are students that go into it and they actually just decide that this is really not for them. So they can come back in their second year, switch gears, try to do a different specialization, which they can do easily, and then switch your career, opportunities. So it's great. So Andrew, next slide. Okay. So we're one of the highest return on investment schools. So we, you'll see here that 91% accepted employment 3 months post-graduation. These are 2019. And they were really the same for the 2020 class as well. I apologize that we don't have that on here, but we do have it on our website. And our salaries are actually higher as well. So you'll see on our website, you're going to see higher stats right on our website. And that was actually the beginning of the pandemic. So for us to be able to have higher salary opportunities during a pandemic says a lot about our team, as well as the students that we enroll in the program. So we place very high in, of course, finance is one of our strongest areas, consulting, marketing, general management, and other. And it really just depends on the year that those numbers will fluctuate just based on the class. Okay, next one. Okay. And as I mentioned, ROI is incredibly high. We do give very strong scholarships. We'll go into that soon and just before the end of the presentation. And most of our students do utilize our Career Center and their resources for finding them a job. And that's important. I mean, this is part of the investment in your time and effort in going through a program. You want to make sure that you also utilize the school's network. And we have an amazing network of alums that are incredibly happy to help our students. Okay, Andrew, anything else that I'm missing on there?
Well, I think you got it, Julie. And I would also add that, I think this year in the 2020 employment report, which should be out soon, it's the highest placement percentages were in the finance and accounting area, and then consulting and marketing. So it varies from year to year, like Julie mentioned, that fluctuation in terms of the placement percentages by function. But as Julie mentioned, we increased in salary over the last few years, which is great. And again this year, which we're very excited about. And we usually place, in terms of the percentages, we usually place in the top 10 for placement percentage by within 3 months after graduation, including salary, which is really nice. Okay, sorry, Julie.
No, it's fine. No. And you'll see on here, these are some of the hiring companies that hire from Simon. I think there was a question that came in pertaining to, the company's top, MBB or IB. Absolutely. I mean, we do have students that place at MBB and IB every year, but keep in mind that those are going to be very, very, challenging jobs for anyone to get, anyone. So we'll help you to get those. And then that's why it's important to solidify your decision very, very early, because for those that finalize their decision and they're ready to enroll at Simon, they can get started on all the pre-work and starting to really prepare themselves. There's so much to do when you're trying to go for those positions in the US that it's important to apply early, solidify your decision early if you're admitted, and to start that, onboarding in March or April.
Mm-hmm. Great, thanks, Julie. We also have a strong focus on your experiential learning at Simon. So we want you to be able to put your MBA and what you're learning in the classroom to practice. And so we have a number of opportunities. We talked a little bit about this already in terms of the Center for Entrepreneurship, as well as our Vision Consulting projects. The Vision Consulting projects in particular are pro bono consulting projects. Typically, they do about 30 projects a year for companies. They're extremely active in this club, working on consulting projects. It's a great way for you to refine those skills, and like I said, put those skills to practice and really hone those leadership and consulting skills. There's, of course, opportunities to study abroad. We talked about those traditional exchange opportunities. We will be getting back to those this year, which is very exciting. We also have typically about 5 or 6 international treks per year as well. Typically do a couple over the winter break, China, India, for example. We've done a couple over the spring break to Israel and Switzerland. They've done Singapore, planning a Singapore trip as well. So there are lots of good opportunities there for those international treks if you're interested in participating in those as well. And really, you can make an impact. And I think we talked a little bit before about being small by design and taking those leadership roles that you'd be interested in, really challenging yourself. And there's lots of clubs that you can join, everything from our Latin American Students Association of Simon, our Lazos Club, which is a fantastic club. It's very active, to Net Impact, which is also a very, very active club, our most active club at Simon. They typically will do Habitat for Humanity projects where they build houses. They take part in international competitions, case competitions as well around social responsibility and sustainability and social impact. And so there's lots of great opportunities for you to stay involved, both from a professional context. So you're interested in finance, you may want to join our Simon Finance and Investment Club, and or marketing, you may want to join our Simon Marketing Association, to more social and volunteer clubs as well that you have the opportunity to join. So for instance, we have our Simon Women in Business. We also have, we were telling Cecilia before as well, the Rochester area is one of the highest producing wine regions in the country, so in all the US, surprisingly enough. So not far from Rochester, you can be to some very fantastic, really world-renowned wineries. And we have our Simon Uncorked, which is our wine and spirits club here at Simon. So they're very active and they like to enjoy some of the local wineries as well. So just wanted to put that plug in there. But Julie's going to talk a little bit about Rochester now.
Yes. And so as Andrew mentioned, I mean, it's such an amazingly beautiful region of New York State. We're on the western side of New York State. We are the 3rd largest city in New York State and one of the most affordable housing areas in the entire US. So, I would say that, it's very easy for you to get an apartment under $1,000 if you want to live alone. And if you want to live with somebody, absolutely, you can live for, $500 a month in an apartment with someone else. So it's pretty amazing. Quality of life, one of the top places for quality of life. There's so much hiking and biking here. We're only an hour, not even really. It's about 50 minutes north of one of the number one. Actually, it's the number one state park in the U.S. And so there's so much to do here. We have 4 seasons. We have 19 colleges and universities in this region as well. So lots of intellectual talent, lots of arts and culture. We have the Eastman School of Music that's part of the University of Rochester as well. And it's one of the top 2, I believe, music schools in the world. It just depends on the year. So
and you get to go to free concerts as well, which is awesome.
Yes, free or $5, I think.
Yeah.
Either way, it's amazing. So yes, we're very fortunate to be where we are in the Rochester region.
I would also add, Julie and I are both transplants. We're not from Rochester originally, but have lived here quite a while. And but one of the coolest rankings that just came out, we were the number 1 city in the country for tech innovation. So if you're interested in the startup scene and entrepreneurship, and especially in the tech space, we were the number 1 city in the country, which is a pretty cool opportunity for our students to be involved and get connected to the local area.
That's true. That's very true. We're also a huge foodie city. So if you're into food or craft beer, craft breweries, there's lots of those, lots of coffee shops. It's great. Although here I am talking to Columbia. I don't know if that's probably a great thing to.
True. Julie and I we like to eat our way through Columbia when we're there. Yeah.
We do. We love our Colombian coffee down there for sure. Okay. Application requirements.
Yeah, we'll breeze through this because I know we're running low on time. And so we wanted to just highlight in terms of just next steps as you're thinking about your MBA and possibly applying to Simon. Obviously, everything's online. So you apply directly through our online application. We do ask for your transcripts. We are waiving the GMAT or GRE scores this year, which is, again, another unique opportunity for Simon applicants. You do have to meet certain criteria, of course, in order to qualify for that waiver, but you can possibly waive your GMAT and GRE for fall 2022 applications, which is great. Or executive assessment, so you can waive one of those 3. But we do encourage, if you have taken it, you feel like you have a good score that would be competitive, it can certainly help your candidacy. So I would say connect with Julie or myself. We're happy to talk to you about where your standardized test score stacks up with our applicant pool, and we can advise whether you should submit your score or not along with your application. Our international students do have to submit an international languages and English language exam. So you can go through the TOEFL, the IELTS, or the Duolingo English test, which is another unique opportunity. Everyone on the call does qualify for an application fee waiver, so I wanted to mention that and get that in as well. That you do qualify for that application fee waiver for joining us today. We do have an optional video essay, so I'll mention that also. One unique thing about our application is that you have 2 required essays, an optional essay, all written, and then you have an optional video essay. And it's sort of like a quick 1-minute interview and your response to a question, right? And so it gives us a chance to get to know you a little bit better. Aside from the static components of your application, adds a little bit more life to your application. Gives us a chance to get to see you and hear from you directly. So really something that I advise students, and I know Julie does as well, to take advantage of that opportunity.
I do want to put a plug in. I know Andrew mentioned Duolingo. It is a lot less expensive than the other 2. So, we definitely do appreciate those that submit an application with the Duolingo. So if you're nervous about the English language test, go ahead and take the Duolingo. It's actually very easy. I think it's 1 hour online, and you can take it from home. Additionally, yes, we are offering the waiver of the GMAT or the GRE or the executive assessment. However, if you do want MBB or you do want investment banking, those are the 2 industries that will look for GMAT test scores. So while we don't expect them through the application process, we would let you know that it's probably a good idea to take it and have a test score that's pretty decent in order to be looked at for those two industries with MBB specifically and top investment banks. We do offer a significant amount of scholarship. In fact, it's probably even more than 80%. So anyone who's admitted to our program and is looking for scholarship will get some level of scholarship. It's merit-based scholarship, so it's looking at your entire profile in comparison to everyone else who's applying at the same time and being admitted. So those scholarships can range anywhere from 30% of tuition up to 100% of tuition. So we do offer 100%, like I said. However, you probably do want to apply nice and early to be competitive enough to receive a high scholarship. We also have, loans available for those of you that are international students and you don't have a U.S. credit history. We do have a partnership with Discover. So it's a special partnership, Simon and Discover, that is a lower interest rate than typically what you can get in home country. And it's to supplement the remaining balance of your tuition after applying your scholarship. You can actually utilize that so that between your scholarship as well as your Discover loan, that will come up to 100% of your tuition. So the only thing that you would have to worry about through the I-20 process would be you worrying about the first year of living expenses. That's all you have to worry about proving on your I-20 paperwork. So it's a really nice option for those that are international, and it's very, very common for most of our international students to utilize that. And as it says there, no US cosigner is needed. So if you want it, you'll have it. So
yeah, and I would mention as well that you can readjust from year to year, right? Your first year, you wanted to take out this Discover custom graduate loan and that's another loan to help cover the remaining cost of tuition and potentially living expenses. You don't need to do that for year two. In fact, many internships, most internships, in fact, are paid summer internships at an MBA rate, post MBA rate. So you're making pretty good income for that summer internship. And so you can often, pay down those loans pretty quickly and even save up for that second year pretty well with the internship income. But certainly you can readjust as you go through the program. But yeah, like Julie said, most of our international students are using scholarship and this Discover loan to offset their full tuition costs while they're in the program, which is really nice. All right, so just wanted to touch on our application deadlines as well. These are the same every year. And so our first deadline, Julie, I think our application is opening up when?
It will be by September 1st, hopefully earlier than that, but certainly no later than September 1st.
Okay, then you have that round one window until October 15th. And what we also do is we make a commitment to get you a final decision by December 15th as well for that first round. So as you can see, we have the deadline here and then the decision notification date. When we make a commitment internally that we want to try and get you a decision by that certain date, right? For your own planning purposes, et cetera. And that when you can commit to Simon. If you're admitted early, you may have to make a decision to enroll earlier, but that's pretty consistent for most top tier business schools.
One thing I also want to mention, sorry, Andrew, I forgot to mention the scholarship weekend opportunity. Yeah. So probably should mention that as well. For those that apply early and are admitted, you have the opportunity to be considered for. We invite top admitted students to compete in a case competition at the end of February. So again, it's not everybody, but for top admitted students, they do have a chance to compete with other top admitted students for additional scholarship and named awards. So we have many, many different named award opportunities. It's wonderful on a resume to be able to put that somebody sponsored your scholarship. Additionally, you have the opportunity to compete for the top scholarship, which is the Leadership Fellowship. It's 100% scholarship plus $10,000 per year living stipend. As you can imagine, it's incredibly popular. Everyone wants it. But you do have the chance to do that the earlier that you apply.
I would also add, oh yeah, sorry, Julie. Yeah, I would also just add that we often get asked, is it better to force an application early because you can qualify for more scholarship or more spots in the class. And while that may be true to some extent, we want you to apply when you have the best application possible. So if you feel like you've taken the GMAT once, you want to retake to see if you can get a better score, you know you can get a better score, then wait, don't apply for that October 15th deadline. Wait and take the exam again and apply by January 5th, for example. So again, we always encourage students to apply when they feel like they have the best application possible, when they look at the profile and they can stack up with our class profile. But it also doesn't hurt to reach out to Julie or myself and let us know if you have any questions. We also have an opportunity as well where you can do what's called a check your eligibility, and you send your resume to this email address, cye@simon.rochester.edu, where you can check your eligibility. You'll have a one-on-one call with Julie, myself, or one of our other colleagues, and we'll give you an assessment of your candidacy for this what we call our CYE process. But you can always reach out. I know Julie's included her email address in the chat. I'll submit mine now as well for you. But Julie, anything else that you'd like to add here before I'll go back to that slide so you can see those email addresses again. But I know we're kind of winding down.
I think, we really do love to connect with candidates one-on-one. So please start the conversation with us, utilize, you could even email the general email account admissions@Simon and get on one of our calendars. So, we love to have that personal conversation and help you through this process. We would like to be able to look at your profile and be able to help you from there and guide you accordingly. And right now is the perfect time. You've got a few months before you have to submit an application, so it's perfect.
Yeah.
We do have a question about exchange programs with other B schools in other countries. Yes, we don't do it in the US, and that's intentional because you have to understand we're actually, for one of the first STEM program, actually we were the first STEM program in the country. We have a particular interest in, making sure that the academics is, the way that we need it to be when students go abroad or go elsewhere to an exchange program. So we do have exchange programs in other countries. The more popular one is Finland and Germany. Those are the two that are the most popular. But again, there's a vetting process that they go through, our faculty goes through when they look at the curriculum from other schools. So you could do an exchange program in the second year of the program during the spring term, the spring A term. And you could also do up to 4 international immersions during your entire 2 years of the program. So that's great because that gives you the opportunity to go to 4 different countries for a brief period of time and have it be credit bearing each of those times. Any other questions?
I can stop sharing our screen so maybe you can see us a little bit bigger here. But thanks for joining us. I hope it was helpful. Like Julie said, we're happy to help. If you have questions, you want to reach out to Julie or myself directly, and we can always connect you with other colleagues as well if you have specific questions. But yes, Cecilia, I don't know if anything else came through. We're happy to address any other questions.
Thank you very much, Andy and Julie. It was a wonderful presentation. I think, a small program gives the student access to all their peers and professors and staff, and you don't have to share all those resources with a large pool, and the rate and the return on investment, it's amazing for Simon. So thank you very much. Thank you very much, all the persons who participated today. Tomorrow we invite you, we'll have 2 presentations. We'll have ESE from Barcelona and Vanderbilt. So we will send you the links via email and WhatsApp. If you haven't signed for the big event on July 10th, please do so. And we'll see you tomorrow, I guess.
Thanks everyone for joining us. Thanks, Cecilia.
Okay.
Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.
Good night. Bye.
Bye-bye.